During a journey into the heart of the City of Light's brilliance, where every street tells a story and every corner hides a secret, Adrienne and Gabriel met. She was an artist with a smile that could light up even the darkest nights. He was a poet lost in his own words, searching for inspiration in every sigh of the city. It was in a welcoming cafe where the aroma of fresh coffee mingled with the gentle sound of an accordion in the background that their eyes met for the first time. Adrienne was absorbed in her notebook, sketching the outlines of an urban landscape, while Gabriel was reading ancient verses, lost in his thoughts. Fate, that incorrigible trickster, decided to unite these soulmates on that sunny spring afternoon. A simple request for sugar was enough to spark a conversation that seemed destined to last forever. They strolled along the banks of the Seine, where the river seemed to whisper secrets of past loves. Together, they explored the hidden corners of Montmartre, where the aroma of fresh croissants floated in the air, mingled with the promise of romance. Every corner of Paris was a new adventure for Adrienne and Gabriel. They climbed the Eiffel Tower, where the world seemed small beneath their feet. They danced under the moonlight in the Luxembourg Gardens, where the statues seemed to be silent witnesses to their growing passion. Between laughter and sighs, they discovered they had more in common than they had ever imagined. They shared dreams and fears, secrets and desires, as if time had vanished and they existed only in that magical moment. And so, amidst the cafes and cobblestone streets, Adrienne and Gabriel lost themselves in each other. For a week, Paris was the backdrop to their love story, where every kiss was a note in a perfect melody, every touch a work of art in itself. Amidst the flashes of spotlights and the vibrant sound of music, they danced as if the world belonged to them. Between the warmth of the applause and the brilliance of the stars, Adrienne and Gabriel found themselves in one of those shows that seems tailor-made for love. Colored lights danced in their eyes as they lost themselves in the enchanting melody, each heartbeat resonating in sync with the rhythm of the music. And it was there, in the midst of the crowd, that they realized their destinies were intertwined in a way neither of them had ever imagined. After the euphoria of the show came the comforting serenity of candlelit dinners, where conversations flowed like wine and glances turned into knowing smiles. With every bite, with every shared laugh, they discovered new sides of each other, as if they were unraveling a fascinating mystery. Romantic walks through the city became a natural extension of this budding romance. Hand in hand, they explored winding streets and charming squares, losing themselves in the allure of a Paris that seemed tailor-made for lovers. Then, on a magical night, beneath the brilliance of the stars and the blessing of the illuminated Eiffel Tower, they decided to take the next step in their journey together. Impulsively, as if the universe were whispering words of encouragement in their ears, Adrienne and Gabriel became husband and wife. It was a simple ceremony, but full of meaning, a moment immortalized by the vows exchanged under the night sky of Paris, where every word seemed filled with promises of a future full of love and adventure. And so, amid the applause and sighs of the ever-present romantics, Adrienne and Gabriel began a new chapter in their love story. A chapter where every page was written with stolen kisses, warm embraces, and the certainty that together, they could face any challenge life might have in store for them. Gabriel, despite all the happiness that marriage brought, began to feel the weight of doubts piling up on his shoulders. Like a silent shadow, uncertainty crept into his mind, making him wonder if he was worthy of Adrienne's love. He saw himself lost among the expectations he had created for himself, wondering if he could be the man she deserved. Every time he looked into his beloved's shining eyes, a small voice whispered in his mind, feeding his insecurities. He wondered if he was strong enough to face the challenges life might bring, if he was smart enough to stand beside a woman as talented as Adrienne, if he truly deserved the love she offered him so generously. These thoughts became like a weight on his heart, pressing down on him more and more each day. He withdrew silently, plunging into a spiral of self-doubt, unable to share his concerns with Adrienne for fear of disappointing her. And at the end of that week of intense events, in the evening, while Adrienne slept, Gabriel left behind a carefully folded note and the wedding ring on the nightstand beside the bed. In the note, words written with a mix of love and despair described his inner dilemma, his struggle against his own demons. He explained that he needed to find answers within himself, that he had to become the man Adrienne deserved. And, with a heavy heart, he left before dawn, leaving behind the emptiness of a house that had once been filled with laughter and promises of eternal love. When she woke up that morning, Adrienne found the note and the wedding ring, and her heart shattered into 1,000 pieces. Tears streamed down her face as she read Gabriel's broken words, trying to understand what had happened. The pain of his departure was like an open wound, throbbing with the anguish of uncertainty. As the sun slowly rose above the rooftops of Paris, Adrienne found herself alone, lost in a sea of doubts and unanswered questions. The love that had once been her refuge had turned into a labyrinth of despair, where every step seemed to lead her deeper into the darkness of solitude. But even in her pain, a spark of hope shone within her, for she knew, deep in her broken heart, that true love never completely disappears. And as she held the ring in her trembling hand, she vowed that one day, she would find Gabriel again, and that together, they would overcome all the hardships that life might throw their way. Even after his impulsive departure, Gabriel tried to carry on, seeking refuge in the dusty pages of old books. But wherever he went, the memory of Adrienne followed him like a silent shadow, whispering her name in the darkest corners of his mind. He tried to fill the void she had left behind with work and distractions, but nothing seemed to extinguish the flame of love that burned within him. Every face in the crowd seemed like a faded version of Adrienne, every laugh an echo of the sweet sound of her contagious laughter. In the lonely silence of his empty house, Gabriel found himself reliving the moments he had shared with Adrienne, as if they were scenes from a film he could never forget. He wondered if he would ever find the peace he so desperately sought, if he would ever manage to overcome the pain of losing her. The nights had become long and lonely as he struggled against the ghosts of the past that haunted him. Each heartbeat was a painful reminder of the love he had lost, a distant echo of a happiness that now seemed so far away. But even in the midst of the darkness of his own anguish, a small glimmer of hope shone within Gabriel. For he knew, even when all the evidence suggested otherwise, that true love never dies. And as he gazed at the twinkling stars in the night sky, he vowed that one day, he would find his way back into Adrienne's arms, where he truly belonged, for he regretted having left her. He now knew who the great love of his life was, and that he could no longer live without her. Full of regret, he tried everything he could to find her again. He even hired detectives to find her address. But he still couldn't find her. He was desperate, realizing he had made the biggest mistake of his life and fearing he had lost her. One day, on an autumn afternoon, he received a letter from none other than Adrienne, the woman of his life. With trembling hands, Gabriel held the letter, which seemed to contain not just words, but a piece of Adrienne's very heart. As he read each carefully written line, he could feel Adrienne's overflowing joy as she revealed the news. She had discovered she was pregnant a month after she left. The letter was not just a happy announcement, but also a window into the solitary journey Adrienne had faced since their separation. She described the highs and lows of pregnancy, the moments of elation when she felt the baby's kicks, and the nights of loneliness and uncertainty, when the darkness seemed to swallow her thoughts. Gabriel felt a pain in his chest as he imagined Adrienne facing each challenge alone, his heart breaking at not being by her side to offer comfort and support. He could almost see the tears that must have stained the paper as she shared her deepest anxieties and fears. But despite everything, there was an undeniable courage in Adrienne's words, a fierce determination to protect and love her child, no matter the cost. Gabriel felt a wave of admiration for her, a new understanding of the power of maternal love that transcended all obstacles. And as he finished reading the letter, Gabriel knew he was facing a choice. He could continue to regret the past, or he could look to the future with renewed hope. With eyes shining with determination, he vowed to do everything in his power to be by Adrienne's and their child's side. For now more than ever, he understood the true meaning of love, a bond that unites not only hearts but also souls in a journey of redemption and renewal. Gabriel's heart tightened as he imagined Adrienne facing pregnancy and childbirth alone. Feeling consumed by guilt and the desire to make amends, he knew he could no longer remain inactive. Determined to make amends and to be by Adrienne's side, Gabriel set out to find her, for he now knew where to look. After days of relentless searching, Gabriel finally found her in a sunlit park, surrounded by an aura of serenity as she pushed a stroller with their precious child. His heart leapt at the sight of her, each beat echoing as a reminder of the love that had never died within him. Adrienne looked up and saw him, and a shy smile lit up her tired face. Gabriel's eyes filled with tears as he saw the woman he loved, more beautiful than ever, surrounded by the living proof of their shared love. With hesitant steps, Gabriel approached her, words of apology and regret echoing in his mind. He wanted to say so many things, to ask for forgiveness, to express his love, to promise never to leave her alone again. But words seemed insufficient in the face of the magnitude of his feelings. Gabriel's heart seemed to leap in his chest when his eyes met his son in Adrienne's arms. He instantly recognized features of himself in him, the same brown eyes that looked at him with curiosity, and the same adorable smile that melted his heart. Feelings of love and remorse flooded Gabriel as he gazed at his son for the first time. He wondered how many precious moments he had missed, how many laughs and embraces he had let slip by. But at the same time, he felt a wave of gratitude for finally having the chance to be by his side. Adrienne, with her grace and unwavering strength, seemed more mature than ever. The challenges she had faced alone had shaped her character in a way that Gabriel deeply admired. She radiated with a captivating aura of serenity. As they talked, Gabriel felt as if he were rediscovering Adrienne. Every word she spoke was like a note from a familiar melody, every gesture a reminder of the love they shared. And, as time went by, he realized that despite everything that had happened, the love between them remained as strong as ever. His heart overflowing with emotion, Gabriel looked into Adrienne's eyes, feeling both vulnerable and determined at the same time. He knew he couldn't erase the past, but he was ready to do everything in his power to make up for his mistakes and build a future together. Gabriel asked for a second chance, expressing his desire to be part of Adrienne's and their son's lives. With a lump in his throat and a heart full of hope, Gabriel anxiously awaited Adrienne's answer. Every second felt like an eternity, each beat of his heart pounding like a drum in his ears. Then finally Adrienne broke the silence, her gentle voice carrying a mix of caution and love. She agreed to give Gabriel a second chance, not only for him, but for the well-being of their precious child. Caution still lingered in her eyes, a reflection of the scars left by the past, but there was also a glimmer of hope, a belief in the power of forgiveness and redemption. Adrienne understood that love was a journey filled with ups and downs, but she was ready to give a chance to the love that still burned within her. With a trembling smile and a handshake full of meaning, Gabriel and Adrienne took the first step toward a new beginning. They knew the road ahead would not be easy, that there would be challenges and obstacles to overcome, but they were determined to face them together, as a family united by love and hope. His eyes shining with emotion, Gabriel took his son in his arms, feeling the comforting warmth of his small body against his heart. Tears of joy welled up in his eyes as he gazed at his son's innocent face, a flood of love and gratitude overwhelming his heart. With an emotional voice, he promised to be a present father, a guide and a friend to his son every step of the way. He knew he had much to learn and to prove, but he was determined to do whatever it took to keep his promise. Adrienne watched tenderly as Gabriel held the baby, her heart melting at the sight of the man she loved embracing the role of father with so much love and devotion. She knew there would be challenges ahead, that the road to redemption would be long and winding, but she felt a spark of hope burning within her. The hope that together, they could overcome any obstacle life might throw their way. His heart filled with determination and love, Gabriel knelt once more before Adrienne, holding her hand tightly as he gazed deeply into her eyes. He pleaded with her, not just with words, but with the sincerity of his soul, to let him be part of the family they were building together. Tears streamed down Gabriel's face, a silent witness to his pain and regret. He knew he couldn't change the past, but he was determined to do everything in his power to build a better future, a future where they could be together as a truly united family. Adrienne looked at Gabriel, her eyes reflecting a mix of emotions, the pain of the past, the fear of the unknown, but also a glimmer of hope and love. She recognized the sincerity in his words, the the genuine desire for change and redemption, and knew it was time to let forgiveness flow. With a trembling sigh, Adrienne reached out her hand to Gabriel, a gesture of acceptance and forgiveness. She acknowledged that he was truly repentant, and that together they could overcome any obstacles life might throw their way. And so, with a tight embrace and a smile full of promise, Gabriel and Adrienne took a step toward a future filled with hope and possibilities. For they knew, now more than ever, that true love was a powerful force, capable of healing old wounds and paving the way for a new beginning.